What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Real About Entrepreneurship. I am Lamika. I am your host, and I am bringing you another person that can help you start, manage, or grow your business. So I am excited. She is my attorney. She has helped me get through some things. So I am so excited to have her on. My guest today is Kandace Walter of Walter Legal. And so, Kandace, welcome to The Real About Entrepreneurship. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing great. I appreciate having you coming on, because often I have started different businesses, and for some reason people think I know what I'm doing, but I have you that shows that I don't know what I'm doing. So I wanted to have you on to just talk about like the importance of having an attorney and talking about what type of attorney you are and that kind of thing. But first, just tell them about yourself, how you decided to become attorney and that kind of thing.
Okay, so I am from Richardson, Texas. Like I really grew up here, went to Richardson High School. A lot of people around here, they're not really locals. I'm a local. And so after high school, I went to Florida A&M. I majored in chemistry. I was planning to be a doctor, and then I changed my mind. I decided to be an attorney because it was shorter than medical school and because I liked law and order. These are real reasons why I decided to be an attorney. So it wasn't something I was planning since forever. So that's how I ended up being an attorney.
That's pretty cool. No, I love Law and Order, and
Yes, SVU is my favorite.
that's my favorite too. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Literally, if I can't go to sleep, I'm like, you know what? Let me put on an old episode of SVU because I
Yes.
know, like, I have to watch it like 4 times before I get through it. But anyway,
Mhm. Yes.
so that is cool. So Florida A&M
Yes.
and
Rattlers.
Rattlers.
Yes.
Yes, we do have some Rattler fans in the house. Did you? So you went to go to medical school?
That was my plan. Well, first I wanted to be an engineer, and I had an internship, and I said no. So then I said I'm gonna be a doctor, and then I was like, let me just be a lawyer.
I like options. Those are all good options. Real good options. Okay, so you decide to be a lawyer, and you start out, because we're going to be talking about intellectual property, that kind of thing. Did you always start out with that?
No, since I love Law and Order, I said, you know what? Let me go work at the DA's office. It's like
Ooh.
Law and Order. It's really not, okay? So it was a very, very interesting experience. I got a lot of trial experience. I met a lot of cool people, but for me, it was emotionally draining. I just cannot be surrounded by that all day. It followed me into my life. And I'm serious when I'm telling you, this is because I was young. I was in the clubs. I would see some people from court in the club.
Like, wait a minute.
Oh, no, I got to hang out somewhere else. I'm sorry. You know what?
That is scary.
Yeah,
Especially
these people, they were like misdemeanors, they weren't like real criminals or anything, but still, I was like, this isn't cool.
Being an intellectual attorney, that seems like it's way more cool, more fun, less some that could be stressful, but
Yes,
a little less.
it's a different kind of stress, and I like it better because I don't have to worry about disappointing victims or not getting justice or feeling like I messed up the case and a real criminal got away, or like I don't need that kind of pressure.
It's so much easier to tell me, Lamika, that name won't work for you versus telling me, Lamika,
Let
you
me
got to
just
go
do a search, a trademark search, a patent search. That's more my speed. Let's talk about your innovations and creativity and business plans and all that. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that feels like it's way better. Okay,
Yes.
so when I got started, I got my height goddess hat on because I feel protected today.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
So when I got started, I really didn't know. I knew I needed a trademark, but I didn't necessarily know what kind of attorney could do that for me. So we're talking about intellectual property and being an intellectual attorney. What does that mean? And that kind of thing.
Okay, so a lot of people think that all attorneys can do anything and everything, and that's not true. We specialize in different things. So I'm an intellectual property attorney, and intellectual property is patents, trademarks, copyrights, trade secrets. All those things are intellectual property. And some people do trademarks and business. Some people do patents and trademarks. Some people like me do patents, trademarks, and the business side. So because of my chemistry degree, I actually took 2 bar exams, the state bar exam, but also the patent bar exam. And you can't take that unless you have, certain science degrees you have to take to even be eligible to take it. So I'm a special attorney. I can write and prosecute your patent applications, but also your trademarks. And so kind of depending on what your needs are, that kind of should dictate which attorney you go to. So if you're talking to an attorney, if they don't specialize in trademarks, you probably shouldn't use that attorney. So me, I've been doing trademarks for probably 14 years or so. So that's that. I'm going to give you different advice than someone that's been doing it for 6 months or a year, or someone that's never done it but said, hey, I looked on the website, I think I could do it. If you're going to have an attorney like that, you might as well do it yourself. And that's a bad idea too, because a lot of my clients are people that filed their own trademark applications to save a little money. And then they have to come to me to try and fix it. Sometimes I can fix it. Sometimes I can't.
Yeah, I'm that girl. Okay. That was so much. Okay, before I talk about myself.
You don't have to talk about yourself. You're amazing.
Yeah, but I will mess some stuff up and then be like, can you fix this? Wait, so because you have you said to be a patent attorney, you have to have certain types of sciences?
Yes. So my degree is in chemistry, but some people, they're engineering, computer science, all different kinds of degrees you have to take. You have to have that before you can even take the patent bar. So some of the attorneys, they don't have that, so they can't prosecute the patents like at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, but they can do litigation if they want to.
Wow, that's really interesting. I never even thought that would come into play. So that's good.
Yes.
That's really good. So I kind of like you. I went to college with the person that referred me to you, and and she is an attorney, but she does not specialize in. She was like, "Girl, I can't do this for you anymore. Let me send you to somebody that knows." This, so that's how I got to you, because I wasn't with with an attorney that was this. But even before that, the first attorney that I hired. So with this now, setting up a business entity, I ain't gonna lie, your girl will set up a business entity on her own. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting better.
That's fine. A lot of people do that, and mostly it turns out okay.
Yeah, mostly it does. But I've gotten better. I've gotten better. But the first attorney I hired to do my trademark, they moved or something like that, and so when it was time to do something like the paperwork got lost or something happened, and I just randomly one day decided to say, let me go look up my trademark, and I just randomly looked it up, and I saw that it had been it was dead or something like that, and it was because they hadn't received a response from my attorney. So that's how I got to my friend I went to college with, and I was like, girl, help me out, because I need to I need to keep my stuff. So so it had been a challenge. It had been a challenge for me. So being that someone hires a trademark attorney, when should they do that?
ASAP. That is, you should talk to an attorney probably yesterday, because let's say that you don't talk to an attorney, you start using whatever your trademark is, years later you decide to try and trademark it. Now you've already invested however much time, money, resources into this name. We don't even know if you can protect that name. And if you can't protect it, you're going to have some issues trying to stop other people from using it. So I think the best time to talk to the attorney is as soon as you're thinking about starting the business. Okay. So you can find out, is this a name that I'm even going to be able to trademark? And with trademarks right now, they have a backlog. So even after you file that trademark application, it's still going to probably take a year before you ever know if you're approved. But but at least if you're talking to an attorney and they do a search, you can know before you do a deep dive into this. Is someone else using this name? Is there someone else with a very close name? And then also something else that people forget about, because they tell me, I did a search on USPTO, there's nothing there. You may not have found something. That doesn't mean there isn't anything. And so there could be, slight variations in the spelling, or maybe they have a logo, but, a logo that's a mix of images and words, or maybe there is no one that has a trademark, but there's a lot of people using it in common law. And that means they just use it as their business name. They don't have a trademark. It's possible those people were using it before you. When you apply for a trademark, they might find out about it and try to stop your trademark based on their prior use or just, likelihood of confusion. So there's lots of obstacles that the trademark attorney can, they'll know about. They can research and advise you and try to stop you. But the clients don't always listen.
I listened. I recently listened. And she's like, just come up with another name. I'm like, it ain't that easy.
It really is hard to think of a name.
Yeah.
But you know what's worse than having to think of a new name?
You're right.
Is getting a nasty letter in the mail or email from someone saying, we've been using this name for 10 years, change your name, we're going to sue you, or them trying to shut down your website. And I've talked to people before. These people, they can shut down your social media, your Etsy store, all this stuff that they can shut down. And sometimes that's legit. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just somebody messing with you.
Wait, so you can does that mean that somebody could file it on a social media site and that shut your
like, for instance, one of my clients, somebody, I think it was Instagram, they said, this is a fake account or whatever it is that they said. And then they shut this person's stuff down and they had to jump through all these hoops. It happens on Amazon too. They had to jump through all these hoops to prove that, this was their real name. They had a trademark, all this stuff. And I think it was just a competitor messing with them.
Oh, wow. I don't need no problem.
Yeah, that's not related to the trademark. But what I'm talking about is you don't want to have a name for your business that a lot of other people are using, regardless of if they have a trademark. Because when people are Googling you, they might, mistype your name, or those people have better SEO than you. And so they pop up before you.
Yes.
So I prefer to be the only one that pops up or
that
pop up
true.
at the top, because it's not 20 people with the same name as me.
That is true. That is true. So I'm still thinking of my other name, but the name that I originally came to you with was Height Goddess. So I had that, and then I have the tagline, "Tall never looks so good." And I'm
a tall sister too. We've talked about this. I'm 5'10". I just wanted to say.
Yes. It's so funny because I have a podcast about from one height goddess to another, and I could not find tall women to be on the podcast. And now all of a sudden that I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take a break. Now everybody that I have lined up is a height goddess. I'm like, how is it?
Hello.
So I love that. But the thing is I did have an incident, which I'm glad that I had sought an attorney, because I did have to have an attorney send a cease and desist to a competitor of mine because they were using my tagline, "Tall never looked so good." So I felt so good that I didn't do that on my own. That was challenging because and it was actually a customer of mine saw it, and she sent me an email and said, "Hey, are you working with them?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not." So it was easy. They stopped using it, but I was glad that I did have it.
That's good. So either they have good sense or their attorney has good sense, because all of this can turn very ugly. Because I'm in a dispute with another party that's using a very, very similar name to my client. People are trying to pay my client on Cash App and Venmo and sending the money to these people, and they're slow to send it back or don't send it back. And people are tagging the other company on these posts. It's out of control. And that's why I'm talking about, even if someone doesn't have a trademark, if they're just using it and they have the social media handles and all that stuff, you don't want that name.
You definitely don't want that name. So I'm glad I took the time, especially with Height Goddess, to come up with it. So for someone, when does someone need, under intellectual property is trademarks, copyright, and patents.
Yes, but I didn't even explain what all those things are. They're just words to people. They confuse people, and that's why they have to talk to me, so I can help them understand. Okay.
Yeah. So when do you need one or the other? So how do they work?
So a patent is for your invention. So a patent can be for a design patent or a utility patent, a plant patent. Most regular people, you don't need to mess with a plant patent. You're not, developing new seeds and stuff. Right. So the design patent is whatever you've invented. It doesn't have a new function. You're protecting how it looks. So say that you have designed, I don't know, say like a tea kettle, but it's shaped like an elephant because you're a Delta. So you've made like some elephant shaped things, but they don't do anything special. They're just shaped like elephants.
Mm-hmm.
You could try to protect those with a design patent. Now, if you've invented something that has a new function or improved method of doing something, like for instance, I always use this example, like if you have a dog and you create this dog bowl that refills itself with water, dog food, and it can let the dog outside and pick up the poop. That is something for you to protect with a utility patent because you're protecting how it works.
I need you to make that. Somebody
I
needs
know.
to make
I would
that.
love to have that. I'm like, man, I need help like that when I had a dog. So that is protecting the function of it. So the patents are protecting either how it looks, design patent, function is utility patent. Then for a trademark, it could be your business name, your product name, your slogan. You might have a logo it could just be an image. It could be words in an image. So Starbucks is an example. They'll have a trademark for the word Starbucks, but they also have a trademark for the mermaid lady. They have a trademark for the mermaid lady with the word Starbucks. They have one in color, no color, all these things. So there's lots of different things you can trademark. The whole point of these trademarks is to identify the source of the goods or the service. That's what the trademark is for, basically protecting your brand. And the copyright has to be a work of authorship, original and fixed. So copyright can be books, art, poems, the words on your website. If you take pictures, you might want to protect those with copyright, things that you draw, video games, all kinds of things like that. You protect those with copyright. And the reason why you want to protect all these things is, one, so that you can have the exclusive right to make money, sell these things. That's what you're protecting with the intellectual property.
Okay. So if I have, I don't know. So do I have to, so does that cover me blanket? Like, okay, so this is my name, so no one can use it. Is that how that works? Okay, that's not how that works. Okay, how that works?
Really. So if you have a trademark Height Goddess, and say, is your trademark for clothing or what is it for?
It's for everything, so don't nobody touch it.
Okay, so if that were really true, you would have to have your trademark in 45 classes, and you'd have to use it in 45 classes. So that's what I was asking. Is a lot of people think they have a trademark, no one else can use this name. It's not quite that simple. So when you apply for your trademark, you have to select a class that your goods or services are in. So just say, for instance, that I opened a daycare called Height Goddess. You don't really have any standing to stop me because you don't have a daycare. You having, a clothing store or, whatever else, or a podcast, whatever it is that you do with Height Goddess, people will not be confused with me having a daycare called Height Goddess.
Right.
But if your mark is famous, like Apple or Nike or something like that, they have a little more standing to stop people from using their trademarks in classes that they don't use it in because their mark is famous. So someone might think that this is now the Nike daycare,
That's true.
It's kind of a stretch, but they would have a better case than somebody who doesn't have a famous mark.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. So you have the trademarks, you have that set up. Should you do that before you set up your business entity? Or do they all work together at the same time?
So the best thing for you to do is to set up the entity and then do the trademark. But something else that confuses people, the name of your entity does not have to match your trademark. And I actually think it's better if it doesn't. I think it's better to have the name of your entity be like ABC, Incorporated or ABC LLC, because you have this one trademark right now, but in the future you might develop, new products or brands or whatever. I don't think you would want to be stuck with that name. But if you really, really insist that it matches your trademark, you can do that. But what if you don't get that trademark? And so with the trademark application, you want to apply for, if you're going to have an entity, you want the entity to own the trademark and not you, the person. Because if you get in a situation where you want to sue somebody for infringing your trademark, if you, Jane Doe, own the trademark, but ABC LLC is the one selling the products, you're having an issue even proving that you have standing to sue somebody. So if ABC LLC does not own the trademark, because you, the person, own it, but the company is the one selling the products. Who is the one complaining about this person using the trademark? So you own the trademark, but you, the person, don't sell the products. The company sells it. So now you have to put this on pause and assign the trademark from you, the person, to the company. And then you can, work on your lawsuit. And another thing too is sometimes people are in business with people. And so before they set up the entity, say John, he files for the trademark, it's in his name. He never transfers it over to the company. Now he left or he's dead or whatever happened. Now there's this, you have this, murky situation where you're trying to get ownership of your own trademark for the company because this guy set it up and now he's gone.
You just legit told why you need to hire.
So the better idea is to have it in the name of the company in the first place.
That I'm so like I get it.
And then also, like I said, you don't know if you're going to get that trademark anyway for a year, but you don't want to spend a year not having your LLC set up.
That makes sense. Okay.
So that's kind of why I'm saying just pick some name.
Okay, I like that.
Yes, this just reminded me. Another thing is that some people, when I ask them, do they have a trademark? They're like, I have an LLC and I have a domain. Okay, that's great. But do you have a trademark? So you setting up an LLC and you buying the domain name, that does not mean that you have you don't have a trademark until you only have a common law trademark once you start using it in business. Mm-hmm. So the LLC is a state thing. It doesn't have anything to do with federal. And then the domain name, even if you had abcllc.com, someone else can get .net, Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's all these variations. They could put the abcllc.com and now they have it too. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the same thing happens with the handles on social media and all that stuff. People can just change little things and now you all have this variation of this thing that's getting confusing.
Right. Okay. Yes, you may. I feel good about my position. I wasn't always there, but now I feel even better about my position. So if someone, obviously it's so much easier to do that when you're starting, to do that. But what if somebody is in the midst of it? Is that something that can be fixed, or, I mean, do you have cases?
Yeah, it just depends on the situation. So I've talked to people before, they've been using the trademark 5, 10, 20 years. They want to get a trademark. Sometimes we can get it, sometimes we can't. Mm-hmm. And so then I tell them, we got rejected. Do you want to appeal this? But I usually advise people to change the name, but they always resist because I've been around almost 20 years now as an attorney, I'm saying. So I know how much money it's going to cost to keep fighting this. I also know that you could just change your name and go off in a new direction and not waste your time and energy fighting about this. But sometimes people want to fight. So if you want to fight, we can fight. But I think you should change the name. Right.
Right. That's good though. Okay. So that's good. So what types of clients do you work with? Are they new business owners? Or are they, I came to you as an existing owner with an existing trademark and then, working on some new stuff. So like what types of clients do you like to work with? I might not even be the type of clients you like to work with. But what do you like to work with?
Yes. I like to work with people who are serious about being in business, establishing their business, setting up, because people ask me questions. I tell them what they need to do. Sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't. I tell them how much it's going to cost. I don't want to do that. That's too much money. Well, at the end of the day, you can spend a little bit of money now and set this up the right way or not and pay more on the backside when all this stuff blows up, if it blows up. I don't want anything to blow up. So my clients are some people, I talk to people that haven't done anything, but they've done a lot of internet research and they're like, I know that I need this, and I have. And so then I'm like, okay, so how much of your product have you sold? Now, I haven't made any products yet and I haven't sold anything. I'm just getting myself ready. Mm-hmm. So I love to work with those people because I can, tell them some cautionary tales and give them advice and help them start off on the right path. And then some of my clients like you, their business is already running and existing. So we can talk about what they've done, what they need to do in the future to protect themselves, and also like where do you plan to go and do you plan to grow and what's going on. We can talk about that. So my clients are sometimes individuals, sometimes small businesses, medium-sized businesses. Almost everybody's an entrepreneur. I have a few clients that are government, kind of government or government adjacent, and then they're all different sizes of clients. So the ideal client is someone who will listen, and take the advice and trust, my years of experience and education. I'm not just making up things. This is based on my education experience and things that have happened with my other clients.
Okay.
So take advantage of that advice. And if you're talking to an attorney and you do not trust them, you don't like them, you don't believe them, or you call them and they won't call back, they don't respond to emails, you don't need to work with them. So you need to like your attorney needs to like you. We're partners together, and we're, working towards your goals.
Yes.
So just because, you can interview different people before you pick someone that you think you mesh with.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, those are good. Because I think that was probably the problem with my first attorney. I was just like, yeah, we're not a good fit. This doesn't work. Which speaking of liking someone, how because I've had a partner before. And I always tell people to have your contracts or your agreements with a partner or whatever you're going to do while you all are in love. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So how does that, even with those, okay, so even with the contracts, like how does that work? When should someone come to you and they're going to be doing a partnership, or should someone even come to you when they're doing a joint venture with someone, or, that kind of thing?
Yes, you should, and not just me, but an attorney. You have to talk to an attorney because, and I tell people the same thing that you just said. You have to get these contracts in place while you all are still friendly and, aspiring to all these great, wonderful things and on the same team, and you still love each other. Because just after all this time, I've seen so many business relationships blow up. Yeah. And then people are like, he said this and she said that and we agreed to this and now blah, 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 blah. Okay, can you send me the contract? So they don't have a contract, or they think they have text messages and emails that they can't find, or those things don't say what they think they said, or the contract doesn't say what you think it said. So you think that it said this, but then when you pull it out, it doesn't say that. Oh my God, they tricked me. Or you have a contract, nobody signed it. Like, what is this? What did you really agree to? And that's why you have to have an attorney so that they can say, hey, have you guys thought about this? Have you thought about that? You're saying that this is your agreement. That's not what these papers say. And so a lot of my clients, I'm either reviewing the contract that the other side presents to them and, giving them other things to think about. Let's not agree to this. How about we counter with this? It's much, much easier, like you said, to do these things while you're still friendly with this person, but also on the front side, and also just to make sure that you guys are really on the same page and that you have a common goal, So maybe you just want it to stay small and stay in operation that, you two and your one employee can do it. Maybe they have plans for expansion and investors and we're taking over the Southwest United States and we're going to, are you on board with that too or not? I don't know. So you guys have to talk about that.
Okay. And so is that in before you set up the business entity?
I mean, you can, if you have to set it up right away, you can, but pretty soon after that, you need to set up your company agreement, or your partner agreement, whatever it is. You need to have something, because you want to talk about, are you going to let other people buy in? What if your partner just wants out? Are you going to buy them out? Do they have to offer their shares or their portion of the company back to you first, or can they sell it to anybody? Okay. And so if you don't talk about these things, then the state of Texas will decide. You'll have to look at the Texas Business Organizations Code to see, what you have to do. Or you can have your own agreement. This is what we already decided we're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. This conversation has definitely told me it's so much better to do this in the beginning than to pay the expense of it being at the end. Like,
Yes. Like I had a client and he had a business partner who had no money. That's my other advice too. If you have a business partner that has no money, they do not need to be 50-50 with you. So the people that have no money are always the ones I've seen the most like vindictive, and they're just like really, really going hard. They don't have anything to lose. You're the one with the money. You're the one, like this person, for instance, he's the one that's paying the rent on the space, buying all the equipment. When the guy with no money is dragging this out, it's costing my client money. Right. He doesn't care. He doesn't have any money. And that's kind of what you have to think about when you're going into business with someone that doesn't have money, but you're saying they have expertise. Okay, that's great. So give them 10%, give them 20%. Why do they have to have 50%? And you're the one putting up all the money on the front side. And then you also need to have your contract saying, I'm, putting this in the company, but if the company starts making money, I want my money back. Do you have an agreement in writing that both of you have signed and agreed to that? Or is this person going to say that didn't work out, I want my half? Your half.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Your half of the negative, whatever.
Yes. Yes. There is no half over here.
I know. So that's why you all have to talk about that on the front side. Yeah. But I just in general would say, do not be a 50-50 partner with someone that doesn't have any money.
Okay. Okay.
Then if they bring some money or they get some money, then we can talk about
the difference.
Changing that up.
Okay. So is that the same thing? Should that be the same thing for someone that's gonna do a joint venture? Like for instance, I'm in real estate, but specifically manufactured homes. And there are people that approach me often and they want to do a joint venture. And so in my head, I'm like, okay, but what paperwork do we need to be able to do this? Because we're not formally a business together, but we're working together.
Yeah, you all need an agreement too. I don't know if you're saying like every time that you sell something, they get this cut or they're bringing this to you and a percentage. I don't know. Just to have your expectations clear and on paper. Okay. Because a lot of people, once the hits the fan, they become very creative and recreate history. And she told me that I was going to get this and that, blah, 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 blah. You don't want to be in court fighting about he said, she said. It would be much, much better. And hopefully you can resolve it faster if you have an actual document and we're talking about what does this say? What does this mean? This is what we agreed to.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. I completely get it because I've been there. And that's why when it was time for, the things that I needed with my other business, I was like, let me just get an attorney because I don't have the capacity to try to do this stuff anymore. So I am so thankful. I'm so thankful that I was referred to you. It's definitely been beneficial. So for someone who is looking for an attorney to work with, how do they find you? And what I want to be clear on what type of attorney you are. I want to make sure I say that again.
Okay. So what I do, half of what I do is the intellectual property. The other side of what I do is the business side. So most of the time, my clients have already set up their entity. So it's more the contracts that they're sending to the people they're working with, their vendors or partners or whoever, or someone that wants to partner with them. They've sent a contract and we are sending back our revisions. Also depends on the power of the parties. So sometimes it's a contract. These people are saying, take it or leave it. So I'm just advising my client, just so you know, this is what you're agreeing to if you sign this. And so one person that I talked to, the contract these people sent, it said they wanted her to make a personal guarantee. And so I was like, I don't know about that. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a pretty risky, business venture. And you're basically saying with a personal guarantee, everything you got is going to be on the line if this blows up. Okay. So you don't have the protection of the LLC anymore when you make that personal guarantee. So I was like, I would think about that. And so she talked to her financial planner. He also said, So me and the financial planner, we killed it. And so she's going to have to, work on something else. But that's really what your attorney is here for, is to advise you, because sometimes you can be all excited and hyped up and kind of glossing over the teeny tiny letters. And like, did you see that it says this? Did you see that it says this? Another person that I was talking to, someone wanted her to be in a joint venture with him. And I can't remember exactly what it said, but it said something real crazy. Like, the only way you can get out of this contract is if you die or pay me $1 million. Excuse me, do you even have $1 million? And then what is this person bringing to the table that you would pay $1 million? I was like, he is doing too much right now. So no, I don't think so. So she had a bad feeling about it when she read it. And then she's like, no. I'm going to have to talk to my attorney about this. And so I was like, no, we're not going to be able to agree to that. No. And I tell my clients all the time, if you have to, when you're talking to these people, blame me. You can tell them, my attorney said no. He won't let me do it.
Start using that.
Yes, she said no. Okay. And if you want to talk to it, here, have your attorney give her a call and we can see what we can do. But at the end of the day, if you want me to review something, I'm charging you $3.50 an hour. So if I'm looking at this for 1, 2, 3 hours, that's how much money you spent versus later on when you're suing these people and you have to be in litigation, you're paying your attorney $20,000 a month for this case, or you they sue you and you don't respond and they get a default judgment against you of $250,000.
Right.
Oh, but someone else I was talking to, he has to probably file a malpractice claim, but his attorney didn't respond. They got a default and now they're like, send us our $50,000. So I'm just telling you these numbers just to say, people don't want to pay the attorney, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 on this side. But if this thing blows up, you're going to be on the hook for a lot more than a few $1,000s.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I think entrepreneurship has become even more sexy. And people think it's just like the thing to do. And it is a lot of times presented as, oh, all you need to do is this. You get a website, you get your social media, you get your whatever. And everybody thinks that's kind of, what it is. And everybody talks about the, start a business for $0. I'm like, that's not how that
works. No, it's not. And so this entrepreneurship is not for the weak. Okay. So it is liberating that you don't work for the man. You can control your income, but you also don't have a steady check every 2 weeks, every month. You have to hustle, or you don't have no money.
You're right.
you have to be on your hustle all the time.
Yes.
And I'm not necessarily my clients, but when I'm talking to other attorneys, I tell them I am a believer in having multiple income streams. You don't want all your money coming from one place, because if something happens over there, I need some other things coming in to sustain until this one reactivates.
Yes. Yes.
And so, absolutely. It's just it's like a roller coaster ride, but I think it's fun. I think it's fun to help people control your financial destiny, control your schedule a little bit. And so I probably work more for myself than I did when I was working for the man. But the difference is my company is the one getting the money. So when when you're working for the man, you might be working on the weekend and at night. And my bonus at the end of the year is discretionary, whatever he feels like giving me.
That part.
Yes. And then the place where I used to work, he's like, you only have 2 weeks vacation time. I was like, what?
No.
I said, well, I got the same vacation as the receptionist. This is confusing to me. Has the receptionist brought some cases in? She referenced, well, we got the same vacation time. I'm like, what's going on?
She might be this receptionist from Suits. You know what I mean?
I don't know. So I was like, this is weird. And so I just, that's not for me. So I love having a flexible schedule. And if I have something to do during the day, I'll work at night. Or I might take off a random Tuesday and catch up on Wednesday, Thursday. That's the world that I have to live in.
Yes. And I love that, because it does allow flexibility, but that hustle is definitely has to be there.
Yes.
So I appreciate that. Now, so how can someone find you if they are looking for to either start their business or they need some assistance with anything intellectual property? How does someone find you?
So they can find me on my website. It's walterlegal.com. And we do have, you can set up a consultation on the website. And if they say that they listen to the podcast, I can give them a 15-minute free consultation. They'll just have to email my office and we can do that, so they don't have to pay. It's because I love talking to people that want to be informed and, just kind of learn from other people's lessons and are ready to listen. So I try to listen like to my clients so I can give them the best advice, but I want them to listen to me too. So I am on, the website, and then also my Facebook page, Walter Legal, is on there. And then I'm on Instagram, ATTY, Candy with a K, W is my handle. I haven't made all my handles the same. My sister did tell me to do that. I haven't done it yet. So I'm so sorry.
It's okay. We get there.
What I'm saying? I got 3 different handles.
I understand. I'm that person too. Now with Hi Goddess, I am anal about everything. But the other things outside of Hi Goddess, I'm like, okay, you need to get it together, because all these things have different handles. So it
does. It's confusing, but I was like, one day when I have nothing to do, maybe I'll fix that. But that day has not come yet.
It has not come. Even with the pandemic, it has not come. So we're just gonna let it be.
That was a crazy thing. I don't know about you, but during the pandemic, I never slowed down. I seem to have gotten busier. Yes. And I was like, what is going on?
Exactly.
Okay. I'll do it, guys. I'll do it. I'm working for you.
That was the same thing. And that's the good part about being able to do it from anywhere at any time. So that is good.
Yes,
so I appreciate it. Yeah. So I appreciate you being on. We got some things going that I'm going to get it together so that I can send it over to you. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on to my podcast. This has been in the works for a while. And I just really appreciate you coming on. So guys, if you are serious about starting your business and you need some business entity set up, you have some intellectual property, definitely reach out to Kandace, because she has definitely been a help to me and my business and getting things in order. But we only want action takers. We only want serious action takers. You have to be
serious, ready to go. I just forgot one thing. Will you let me add one more thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, thank you so much. The other thing I forgot to say is that I'm also the director of the Small Business Trademark Clinic at SMU Law School. And so there, every semester I have, 6, 7, 8 law students. And so they do the legal work and I supervise them. So they can set up an LLC for you, file a trademark application, help you set up a nonprofit. There's a separate clinic that does patents. And we have there's probably 10 clinics there, but I'm just the Small Business Trademark Clinic. But there is an income restriction. So you have to you can't make above a certain amount for us to help you. So you have to be in a position where without this clinic, you would not be able to hire an attorney. Okay. So everyone cannot be a client, but if you're listening to this and you're like, man, my coins just aren't right, you can apply to the clinic and we'll see if we can help you out.
That's dope.
You can Google it, SMU Small Business Trademark Clinic. Their website is just very, very long. I just can't even remember it. So just Google it.
That's dope. Okay, we like that SMU.
Yes.
Okay.
And the only thing that the client has to pay is the government filing fees. So like for your trademark, you would have to pay the $250 per class, or you'd have to pay the $300 for the LLC, but you don't have to pay the $2,000 to the attorney because the law students are doing it. But they are slower than real attorneys. Okay. Can't be in a hurry.
Right. If you got to have money or you got to have patience. You know what I mean? You can't, you can't. Yeah. So that's good. That is definitely good. So, does that have to be local to, is that Texas only?
It's the Metroplex. So we prefer our clients to be in the Metroplex so that if they have to come to the clinic to bring us something, they can come.
Okay, got it. Okay, all right. So if you're in the DFW Metroplex and you meet those requirements, definitely look it up, go check it out, see if you meet those requirements. And
yes, in Texas A&M, they also have a clinic that does trademark and copyright.
That's pretty cool. That's good information there. So definitely check it out. I appreciate you guys listening to The Real About Entrepreneurship or watching us on YouTube. And go ahead and smash the subscribe button on both of our channels. Go ahead and smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, so that you all can let YouTube know that you are enjoying our content. And this will also be on podcast as well. So I'm getting it together over here.
Lamika, I have to say one more thing.
Okay.
I have to tell you that you are really inspiring me. I love that you have all these things going on, that you have a YouTube channel, you have content, you got podcasts. I want to do those things and I just haven't done it. So I'm going to try to be like you.
Hey, don't do it because I'm over here like, what am I doing? Don't add another
You're doing it though. I'm just thinking about it. Me and a bunch of people watching the podcast, we're just thinking about it, but you're doing it.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And that's a high goddess. That's from one high goddess to another. We got this. All right, guys. So be sure to check it out. If you have any questions, feel free to put your comments below. And until next time, peace.